Good morning and welcome to WGN-TV Political Report. I'm Paul Lisnick. Let's get right to our top story here in Chicago this week and across the country, police reform. On Tuesday, a Minneapolis jury found former police officer Derek Chauvin guilty on all 3 counts in the death of George Floyd. Some say the verdict is long-awaited justice. Others call it just the first step in transforming a broken policing system. Back in Chicago, the city is still reeling from the release of video showing the police shooting of 13-year-old Adam Toledo last month. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has promised changes to the police department's foot chase policy, but other efforts to reform CPD slow-moving or have stalled completely. A proposal to digitize complaints against police officers, make older records public, is stuck in a city council committee, and plans to create more civilian oversight over CPD have long been debated, but have yet to get a vote. Even Superintendent David Brown admitted this week the department wasn't taking their federal consent decree seriously when he arrived last year.
If we're going to change our culture, it's going to be because the community demands it. And we as a profession, not just as a department, have to, number one, embrace this change that's happening across the country in law enforcement. We have to embrace it. A lot of what that means is shut up and listen.
We're talking about the most consequential change in policing maybe ever in Chicago. There's a lot of conversations that need to be had. Those conversations are happening.
In Springfield, a renewed effort to end qualified immunity for police officers has stalled once again. House Democrats, who had hoped to pass a plan during the spring session, say they'll now wait until a study on the issue has been completed. My first guest was a sergeant with the Chicago Police Department for more than 2 decades. He's now the alderman of the city's 29th Ward. He's chairman of the Council of Public Safety Committee. Alderman Chris Taliaferro joining us via Zoom. Alderman, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Good afternoon, Paul, and thank you for having me on your show this morning.
So I want to actually start, because of your background so unique, I want to kind of start here. You were a police sergeant for 2 decades. You know both sides of this debate very well. Now you're a politician. So do you think that reforms will be sufficient? Are they possible to actually create the kind of transformation needed in this system?
I believe it will be sufficient, Paul. I think, you know, one of the things I've spoken about very openly and honestly is that policing changes. It changes every 20 years or so. When I became a police officer in 1994, the traditional style of policing was being ushered out and CAPS was being ushered in. And so we have gone through another cycle where CAPS is perhaps no longer as effective as it has been in the past. And I think a new order of policing will step forward, but that begins with reform. We have to look at what we need to change from community policing era and keep the goods, but move forward in a new era of policing.
And part of that reform, Alderman, I think you'd agree, of course, is oversight. There's been a plan to have more public oversight over CPD and the superintendent. That's been stalled for a while. Activists are, you know, they want it. The mayor doesn't seem to be thrilled about it. Is it safe to say it is or is not going to move forward?
It is going to move forward. And I would, you know, just correct that a little bit and say, you know, the mayor is excited about it. You know, but I think the mayor is somewhat wants to make sure it's done properly and done correctly, which will benefit not just the residents of the city, but the police department as well. And so she's been very upfront about that she will be initiating, having a substitute ordinance being brought to my committee. And as chairman of the committee, I give the mayor due respect as the chief executive of the city to have her ordinance considered along with the unity ordinance that's before my committee now.
Yeah, and you're right. To be fair, I should be clear. She's not against the idea. She just hasn't been pleased with what she's seen in total yet. But that's working through the process. So obviously the city's still reeling from the death of Adam Toledo. Investigation still has to go on. What do you think about limits or modifications to the foot pursuit policy, which of course came into play in that situation?
If we do reform our foot chase policy, we have to be very careful as not to send a bad signal or a wrong message to those that are willing and to continue to commit crimes. If they know that the police are not going to chase them under certain circumstances, then they may be more willing to continue to commit those type of crimes, knowing that I'm going to get away with it. So as we do look at the foot chase policy, I caution that it's one that we have to be very careful about implementing so that we're not encouraging misconduct or encouraging crime that will send our numbers skyrocketing in the city of Chicago.
Part of this process is you've got to have faith in the superintendent of police, David Brown. I want to ask you whether you have faith in him. Look, he had a very rough first year. The riots as a result of the George Floyd situation. Moving forward, 2020 ending with 769 people killed, 2021 through March, already 131 homicides. You know, you don't see him running around like you did Eddie Johnson or Jody Weiss or just some of the other superintendents who are kind of always out and about. And he had a press conference this week where he made the point. That's not me. I'm doing my job. Are you satisfied with the job he's doing?
I am. And you know, when he came into town, I use an old cliche. There's a new sheriff in town. Although his police, although his responsibilities are somewhat different than the sheriff, there's a new superintendent in town, and I have complete confidence. It does take a while to turn things around. Our superintendent is working very hard to turn things around, and we can't expect him to be the Jody Weiss or the Superintendent McCarthy or the Eddie Johnson. We can't expect him to be them. We have to accept his style of leadership, whether that's in front of the camera or on the front lines. I choose to want to accept the way that he wants to lead, as long as we can continue to see improvements in the city and improvements on the police department. He has two big tasks in front of him. One, violence reduction in the city, but number two, it's keeping our department so that the morale is not low and keeping them a viable force that's well supported by their superintendent and by the city residents. Those are two huge tasks right now. So I do support his efforts.
All right. By the way, just very quickly, he has said, I don't fire players, I fire coaches. Are the problems in leadership or at the front line?
You know, it's hard to say where their problems may be. You know, I don't think he's let go too many of his exempt staff. I don't think the problem is on the department itself. Some of the problems that we're experiencing in the city of Chicago may be with some of the policies. And so when we change the policies, we change the department. When we change the department, we change the city. And it's with that mindset, that thinking, that we have to move forward. Change policies. That's going to change the department, and that will, in fact, change the city. And that means ushering in something completely new in the city of Chicago with civilian, not civilian control, that's a bad word to say, but some civilian oversight. We don't, you know, having control of a police department is something that none of us should have, even as elected officials.
Well,
but we should have some oversight, Paul.
Before I lose time, because we have less than a minute left, I want to get your take on the police database, the notion of cops who have been, you know, accused of something and whether or not it should be made available, and even if it's closed and dismissed. A lot of controversy about it. Where do you stand?
Well, actually, we're removing that controversy because we are moving forward with implementing that. And we'll be discussing this with the mayor as well. But it's a recommendation of the Office of Inspector General, and we will bring that to fruition. And I think it's important because our residents, the city, looks for transparency. And if our police department and our officers have nothing to hide, there's no problem. I think it's important to have that transparency and that accountability because those two go hand in hand. We will bring that ordinance to fruition. We will vote on it soon. And I think it'll be good for the city of Chicago.
All right, well put. Thank you for all your insight. I need more time with you, but I hope you'll come back soon. Alderman Chris Taliaferro of the 29th Ward. We'll look forward to it, too. Thank you, sir. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you, Paul. Have a good morning.